All right, guys, let's talk sports cards and trade nights. So, I recently attended a Minnesota Timberwolves trade night this past Friday, and this was my first time ever going to an event where it was strictly a certain type of cards, whereas everybody had Timberwolves cards, and that was pretty much the only thing there. And I've got a lot of different thoughts on it, but I wanted to share those all in this video, so let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And pretty much like I said in the intro, I went to a Minnesota Timberwolves card trade night last Friday, and it was honestly one of the coolest sport card events I've ever attended. And I've been to some pretty big shows, some pretty cool trade nights in the past, but nothing has ever really topped how cool this was to just be in a room with about 15 to 25 other people who collect the exact same thing as you and enjoyed the exact same thing as you. So wanted to just talk a little bit about that today, my experience, and then show you guys some of my pickups. So I think that will be pretty fun. But overall, this is Timberwolves trade night, and there's a Instagram group chat that I'm in called the Timberwolves Card Club, and it's just a bunch of Timberwolves collectors, and we all got together for the most part and just met up, did a little trade night, talked Timberwolves, watched the game, did some trades, sold some cards. So that was really fun. But the first thing that I really noticed was this was the first event that I've been to that was not so focused on buying and selling, and it just didn't feel so transactional. This truly felt like a group of collectors, which I thought was so cool because I don't get that with cards a lot. I run a sports card business. I do six figures in sales in sports cards a year. I'm selling sports cards every single day of the year. So it was kind of cool just to go into the show knowing maybe I'll buy stuff for the business, but more than likely this is going to be strictly a kind of fun and just personal collection type of night. And that's exactly what it was. I ended up buying nothing actually. Like I said, I bought one card and I traded for one card, but it was pretty cool. I traded a couple things for one card and then bought another card that I'll get into in just a second here. But it was really cool that there was so many different collectors there who collected so many different things, but we all had the same kind of one main central thing that we collected, which is Minnesota Timberwolves cards. And there was everything from people who collected 90s inserts and really cool rare cards from the 90s to the dark days of the Timberwolves, so that I really like to collect with, Derek Williams, Alexei Shved, Nikola Pekovic, like stuff like that. I really love collecting stuff like that. Derek Williams, like, come on, you gotta love collecting those type of guys because they're so cheap and just fun to get cool cards of those guys. But then you also had the newer wave of guys who collect Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards, stuff like that, Terrence Shannon Jr. So I thought that was pretty cool. And overall, it was a really unique experience. For me, I'll tell you guys what I traded right here. So the first thing that I did when I got there was I did a trade with a nice guy named Will, and we went back and forth, did a little bit of stuff. He dug through my box, I dug through his, and I'm going to pop this on the sleeve here. But what he was interested in was I had a couple in-person autographs that I slabbed myself of Nafisa Collier and Jaden McDaniels, and then I also had a Terrence Shannon Jr. Court Kings fresh paint rookie autograph PSA 9 that was numbered out of 125. So he was interested in all those. I had about a $220 value on those, I wanted to say. And I looked through his box. He had some cool stuff. He had like an Ant Select green out of 5 die cut that I really wanted, but I didn't know if I wanted to throw some money in that for just a personal card. But what I ended up getting off of him was a flawless Julius Randle right here. I think this is first off the line, numbered out of 7. Really cool card. I'll pop a better scan on the screen too. But awesome card. The hollow foil on it is amazing, and if you've never owned a flawless card, they're just next to none. The on-card autographs, the game use patch, the design of the card, they just feel so classy and high-end, and they're really cool to me. So I was able to trade the Nafisa Collier and the Jaden McDaniels card for this one straight up, and then he also wanted the Terrence Shannon Jr. card, and I was able to sell that to him, I should say, for $50, which later in the trade night, I ended up buying this straight up for 55. So I would pretty much say I traded those 3 cards for these 2 cards, but I got a really cool first off the line gold shimmer of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And this one is numbered out of 10, number 2 out of 10. And Minnesota Timberwolves gold has been something that I've always kind of side PC'd, side collected, stuff like that. But after talking with a bunch of these guys at the trade night and seeing some of their gold Timberwolves prisms and different gold parallels that they have with these guys, it really motivated me to start collecting that more because a lot of this stuff's so cheap. Like I can tell you this past weekend, I bought on eBay a Rudy Gobert NBA Hoops Premium Stock Gold, I think I paid like $14 for it. So there's just a lot of cool stuff out there. Kind of motivated me to do that. So if anything, out of the trade night, I did get a little motivation on something that I want to start collecting a little bit more and something to look for on eBay for fun. So I thought that was pretty cool. But overall, really fun night. And this really got me thinking, there could be so many cool different trade nights for all the different little subsections and sectors of stuff that people collect. Like, I'm a big Minnesota Timberwolves and a Minnesota Twins collector, so being able to have this Timberwolves card group to go to and do some trades with and talk Timberwolves cards is pretty cool. But I was thinking, what if I started a Minnesota Twins group? So if there's anybody who's watching and they are interested in potentially joining an Instagram group where we just talk Twins cards, buy, sell, trade Twins cards, share cool eBay listings with people if we know what they're looking for. So I think that's one of the coolest things about this Timberwolves group is I can't tell you the amount of times I get DMs from people saying, hey, check out this Justin Patton card that's on eBay. Check out this cool Karl-Anthony Towns card, stuff like that. So that's one of the cooler parts of this group is how everybody's kind of looking out for each other and figuring out what everybody likes, where if you see a card that the person might like and maybe they're going to look over it, maybe they'd miss it, send it their way, just drop it in the group and we can do stuff like that. So that's always been really fun to me about this group. And I think that the hobby would benefit so much if there was a lot more of these different groups for every single different kind of collectible group of things. Like I know we actually were mentioned in the Wax Museum podcast in one of the episodes a while back after the first meetup they did. I was not able to attend that. This was my first time going to the trade night, but I just think it's so cool that this group is getting talked about in sports card podcasts, on sports card social media, about how other people wish that they had something like this. So I think that's amazing. And overall, a very great trade night. I had a lot of fun at it. And if any of you guys collect Timberwolves cards and want to be invited to a future trade night, leave a comment and shoot me a DM on Instagram. And I'll kind of get you in contact with the guy who runs the group, runs the trade night, and we can get everything coordinated because we're always trying to grow the group. And I think that'd be a lot of fun for everybody involved. More Timberwolves cards to look at, even better. So overall, super fun night. I was able to get these two cards, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm probably going to keep the Julius for now. As a lot of you do know, I don't like Julius Randle. He was part of the trade that pulled my favorite player away from the team, but I still like to have at least one really nice card of him, considering the Wolves are doing pretty solid this year. I think they might make another run to the Western Conference Finals, if not the finals. And I just want one card to be able to say I've got a nice card of this guy. So I'm going to hold that for now. And same thing with Nikhil. I don't really know because he's an absolute baller right now in Atlanta. I think he had 38 points just a couple nights ago. So this one is one that I might list on eBay for like a high price, but not really motivated to sell it. So we'll see what happens there. But if you're interested in either of these, shoot me an offer, and I'm always willing to make a deal. But overall, we'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.